At the end of this video, you should have an idea of what a function is. A function is an equation that will accept an input to do something to that input, and then depending on what the input is, will give you an output. An example of a function is f of x, and x is the variable that is used as the input into the function. So f of x is equal to 3 times x plus 1. So what would happen if we input 2 into this function? We will do that by evaluating f of 2. That is to say, we let our inputs be 2, which means that everywhere we see x, let's replace it with 2. So now, f of 2 will be 3 times 2. We mentioned in our previous video that in algebra, when a variable is written by a number, it is assumed that it is multiplying it. So that's how come we multiply the 3 by 2. Okay, plus 1. So f of 2 is equal to 6 plus 1, which is equal to 7. What this means is that when we input 2 into this function, the output is 7. So our coordinates will be 2, 7. Since input was 2 and the output we got was 7. Now, what would f of 3 be? So once again, everywhere we see the x variable, we would replace it with 3. So we have 3 times 3 plus 1. So f of 3 will be 9 plus 1, which is equal to 10. So this means that when we input 3 into this function, the output is 10. So our coordinates will be 3, 10. Since the input was 3 and the output we got was 10. Now, let's look at how we would represent this on a graph. Let's draw the x-axis and then the y-axis, and let's number them. With our first input, our coordinates were 2, 7, because the input was 2 and the output was 7. So 2 on our x-axis is here, and 7 on our y-axis is right there. So the point for this coordinate is where they meet, here. Also, plotting the point for 3, 10, we locate 3 on the x-axis and 10 on the y-axis. Then we put a big dot at the points where they meet. And yes, we have plotted the points 2, 7 and 3, 10 on the graph. You can also try so many other points and find out the output it will give you. After that, you can try plotting them on a graph. Now, let's say this is our x-axis and that's our y-axis. Now, let's draw a circle that has radius 2. So this is a circle and the radius of the circle is 2. So -2, -2, +2, +2. A circle centered at the origin with radius 2. The equation of this circle is going to be x squared plus y squared is equal to their radius squared, that is 2 squared, which is 4. Now, the question is this relationship between x and y a function? Let's say that x is equal to 0. There are 2 possible y's that are associated with it. This y up here and this y right down there. We could even solve for that looking at the equation. When x is equal to 0, we get 0 squared plus y squared, which is equal to 4. Y squared is equal to 4. Y is equal to the positive or negative square root of 4, which is equal to positive or negative 2. This right over here is positive 2, and that right over there is negative 2. So in this situation, when I put 0 into the equation, the output is positive or negative 2. And this is not a function. We cannot associate one input to different outputs. We can only have one of the output, or we can only have one output for a given input. And for that matter, this equation is not a function.